Hello and welcome to the final episode of the Jar Last podcast for the calendar year of 2023. For those who've been with us for over a year, you'll know that at the start of the year, we sat down with special guest Corbett and we each came up with a wish list of the top 5 things we wanted to see out of Hearthstone in 2023. And now, joined by Corbett again, we're going to listen back to those wish lists of ours and see if we got anything we asked for, or if we even still care, or if we want to add them again to next year, or anywhere in between. So I guess with that said, how are you, Corb?
I'm doing all right. I have no idea what I asked for.
I don't either.
So this is great. It's like I sent off a letter to Santa, and it's like I don't know what he got me. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I hope your year was good between these two episodes. It's a long time.
It was. I thought you were about to say this is the final draw last episode ever, and I was like, I think that would make me the bookend of.
You'd be the start and the bookend, I guess, in that case, right?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Without further ado, let's jump into our wish list. We've got this nice little podcast episode brought up that we posted earlier in the year. And we will start with the 5th thing, which I guess would be the lowest on Corbett's priority list for what he wanted out of the year.
Give me auto squelch, all right? I've been wanting auto squelch for so long. It's such a minor thing, and there's a reason it's number 5. But man, talking is for if I want to get a Hearthstone player's opinion, I go on Twitter and Reddit, and I talk on podcasts. I don't need them, chatting to me in game. Let's just turn that off permanently, and I'm okay with it. I stand by it. I stand by this take. I want this. This is, if anything, it might have moved up my priority list. This is a good past take from past Corb.
Do they not have it in a deck tracker yet?
No, there used to be plugins, I think, that you could use, but I think they fell through. And they might still be there. I'm not sure, but it's not automatically there. The way it should be. Yeah.
Well, all right. You still want it. Let's see what Vaapad number 5 was. 5.
All right, my number 5 is I want more Hearthstone, meaning I want to go from 3 expansions a year to 4 expansions a year.
Bro. That's the same reaction.
So we get an expansion 1 month sooner every time. Only every 3 months instead of every 4 months.
Now, is this when you...
So we got this, by the way.
Oh, man, did we?
Oh, yeah. Ever heard of Caverns of Time?
Oh.
I guess.
Yep. I mean, I think this might not be off the table yet, because there's some weird timing going on for next year's expansion. That might just be more to do with the 10-year anniversary stuff, but it feels like they're shifting the dates around a little bit. We'll see.
Maybe.
You did get more Hearthstone, though. That's true. Got a new mode and a new set to go with it. Fair enough. We'll just keep riffling through these. I assume at some point we'll have more to say, so no big deal.
All right, my number 5 is really funny considering what his was. My number 5 is I want less fast and frequent changes to cards. Nathier came out, and then Nathier got deleted, and that just kind of feels weird to me. I like fixing things. Like right now, obviously, I'm not saying they shouldn't change this meta, right? Like there's some pretty clear problems with what we got going on in at least in the standard terms, which is what you focus on for this. But it certainly feels like they just new cards much more than they used to, which they obviously do. They've stated that. But I miss when metas had a little longer to naturally solve themselves. Now they just tend to solve them for you. Like they already build decks for you because they don't print cards, they print packages. So there's only so much you can really do. So I feel like they're taking away even more. But maybe that's a boom.
Oddly enough, I kind of agree with you, but from a sense that my biggest problem with Nathria getting deleted was that we went back to what it was like before Nathria in a lot of ways.
And
then I complained about Even Shaman.
Here we are 12 months later. Incredible. Yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason I want that is because I just don't play every day like I used to. So I'm not sick of metas by the time that they get nerfed, but that's also I understand what it's like to get sick of them quickly. So I mean, whatever. I kind of agree with that, but it was also just I think I was scraping the bottom of the barrel for number 5 probably.
Yeah, I think they probably should still look at toning down some of those very, very emergency like early patches, maybe they could, I don't know, do something different there. But I think this year we kind of had the glaring weaknesses of the Hearthstone balance patch cycle kind of show itself with the Yogg changes and how we just kind of had to sit around and wait there for like 4 or 5 weeks, and there was kind of nothing they could really do about it. So yeah, but yeah, that's nerfs. I don't think we got that, but maybe another one for you, Jordan, next year.
Maybe. Yeah, I
There's
definitely
always
don't
next
think
year.
anything changed. I think people still want them instantly. Although I've seen some people ask for similar, or it's like, although I think they probably cherry pick based on the cards they like usually. But yeah, it's like, oh, we should wait on this one because they like it. But yeah,
Right.
not a terrible take for me. I was expecting worse.
Corb's number 4.
All right.
Yeah, I
we'll intro it,
said
guess.
more
Test
Stormwind,
you.
less Voyage. So basically, this is about like the type of cards that we're seeing and the type of sets that we got printed. Like, I really enjoyed Stormwind for standard. Again, Wild was a shit show, but whatever. And I just think like they really leaned into sort of they sort of like pushed the envelope super hard on the power of the game, and they made it very draw heavy, a lot of mana cheating, and that's the stuff that I liked. Like, I like that kind of gameplay a lot. And then the next year they really dialed it back. Like they in Voyage, that was like a very slow, very tribally deck. Expansion where there was a lot of like Murlocs and mechs and things like that, and it just wasn't very suited to me. Like, I didn't like it. So I'm hoping in this upcoming year, I'm hoping that we get more just more cards and more decks and stuff that I find interesting, and we move a little bit away from like the kind of tribal and pre-packaged sort of deck building that Jordan kind of mentioned before.
Cool. I mean, that's fair opinion for sure.
Do you stand by that?
Oh, I stand by it. I definitely continue to want that. I don't think we got this. Like, I don't know. We've just had an expansion come out, and it's Highlander, right? And which is kind of like in a similar vein to some of the tribal aggro stuff. It's a sort of like the other end of that. Instead of being like the aggro version of tribal, it's kind of like Highlander, sort of like the big pile control version. So yeah, I don't know if we really did get that kind of gameplay. There have been a couple decks here and there that fit that, but I think like broadly, no, we're still closer to Voyage than we are to Stormwind, I think, over this year.
Fair enough. I kind of liked Voyage, at least thematic wise. I thought it was probably my favorite expansion of the year, but I can definitely see what you're saying with the different types of Hearthstone. Yeah. I don't know what I prefer either.
Just a variety is nice. Sometimes getting synergy piles and sometimes getting things we have to actually piece together ourselves.
Fair enough. I guess that's it. I mean, it's funny, like you wanting more Stormwind. I think Zeddy made a meme today that was essentially like Stormwind solo adventure. It's kind of timely.
I can see that.
I'm booting up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Look.
My number 4 is I want 2,000 win Prestige Hero skins.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Quick and easy there. Wow.
Did not get it.
No, not yet. But maybe they're just holding out for 2,500 Prestige
Maybe.
skins to be more reasonable for most people.
I think you are also said this on the video.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I stand by this. I think it'd be sweet. I am happy they just released like the new track skins or whatever, or like, you know what I mean, like the new like 5 or 6 skins that they printed for, not for the rewards track at the end of it, not the 100, but like the one that's in the journal. I don't know, but I mean, some of those skins
New skins,
great.
yeah, new skins in the
Yeah.
battle pass because we ran out of options.
I think so. Yeah.
See the tweet, Corb? It's like
Yeah, I saw. I look
funny
at
how it's like the same day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good meme.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that they could add at any point. They have lots of art. They make lots of art. It's probably one of those things that they would not be opposed to adding. They just have to prioritize it at some point. So
Sure.
wouldn't surprise me if we see that one day. I have no idea what my number 4 is. Let's find out.
Killing it. My number 4 is so personal that I
Okay.
had it on my list last year.
Bad
I don't think
start.
there's probably like a dozen people that complained about this, but it seems like
Oh.
once a week at this point, I remove people from my friends list because I always have 200 friends and I always need to add more. And it's so annoying. I don't know if anybody on earth has this problem, but when they merged the 3 servers into one list, I got hosed because I didn't have enough for my cap to be set higher. So now I'm stuck with the merger at 200 and like everyone else has like 350 or whatever. And it's like, I can't add people without removing people. I've removed like high school friends. I removed Ben from work yesterday because I needed a slot and he hasn't played in a month. I removed Shia. Like these people don't play. I have to remove them. I have no room, man. Like removed Andrew's fiance. It's like, I got no space, man. Give me more space. That's my 4. I don't know if anybody.
We got it.
We got that. Yeah, that's pretty sick. What is it now?
There you
Is it 500?
I actually have no idea. I haven't had to think about the limit, Jordan. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. I saw the quick tweet and I was like, "Oh, bless up," and then the problem went away immediately.
That's
I'll load it up right now.
That's the beauty of it. If you don't have to think about it, it means it's high enough.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't ever tell you what it is before. But I have 203 friends. What a day! What a day to be alive. I haven't really made that much use out of this feature, but I didn't have to delete 3 people, so that's a win. That's a win in my
You
book.
could go back and add. You could go back and
Yeah,
add Shia. He hit legend
Shia.
the other day.
Oh wow, he's playing again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to even find him. I don't even have. Okay, I just hit the suggested friends. It's kind of funny who I don't have on my friends list.
Yeah.
Oh, I always forget about that feature. That's actually a good one.
And like Doc Delight's not on my friends list apparently. Oh wait, actually, I know why. That's a tragic tale. Never mind.
Oh god.
I beat him in THL and then typed GG and he removed me from his friends list.
Oh.
Because you're not supposed to GG first. Yeah, I didn't know. It's my mistake.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's Wild Hearthstone. Beating him is hardly like you can hardly take credit for a win in Wild Hearthstone, right? Like my deck just drew better, you know? It's like it's
Sure.
wild, right? But totally deserved, yes. All right. Well, I mean, that's a W. I got what I wanted. Are we already down to Corbett's 3? Wow, which appears to be really short based on this chapter length.
We done already.
Oh, we already did
Yeah.
mine, so we can
Yeah.
skip.
Yeah.
We can skip.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I see.
I
I think I would have had.
I
the
think
same
if you
one.
keep playing it, it'll
Frequent changes. That was his 3.
unless you have anything to add.
more frequent changes.
We done already.
Oh, we already did
Yeah.
mine, so we can
Yeah.
skip.
Yeah.
We can skip.
Frequent changes. That was his 3.
Unless you have anything to add.
No, we spent a lot. On
For
that
the
one,
review,
so-
let's
Alright.
make for the review edit. Let's make it clear that Corb's 3 was less changes or less frequent changes because it has negatives to it.
And then my
Oh, all right. Future us thought of this problem, I guess.
past us, yeah.
Wait, so was your 3 the same as my 5?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, how neat. We agree.
Yeah, and we didn't really get it. So.
No, bit of a bummer. It is what it is, I guess. I wouldn't mind it, but I also think they cater to the super active player now, which is probably generally better at this point in Hearthstone. So, as long as some people are happy, right?
Sure.
Granted, that's what you are, Corb, so they're not hating everybody.
yeah.
but-
Yeah.
It's something
Move on,
that would
it's
make
3.
deck building a lot more interesting. And I think it would help a
Cool.
lot with. And then my 3 is I want Hearthstone to introduce the Ruins system to
Ruins.
other classes. I don't want it to be a Death Knight exclusive thing. Whether you do it just going forward or whether you retroactively add it to card, I think that it's something that would make deck building a lot more interesting. And I think it would help a lot with balance too. Because like imagine if all of the best cards in Death Knight didn't have to have the ruin requirement. Like imagine you could play the 3 mana or the 3 frost UI imitation thing. Dragonworm
Frostworm
Fury or
Fury?
whatever. Yeah, that one. Imagine you can play that in the same deck as the 2 mana gain 10 health and draw a card. You know, like
Vampiric Blood.
yeah. Imagine you could play those 2 cards in the same deck with just like from the get-go. Because you can't, Death Knight doesn't feel unfair in the way that a lot of these other classes with super high synergy cards that really weren't maybe printed to be synergistic with one another because they're, 3 or 4 years apart in printing.
It's interesting. Do you feel
You still want that?
Oh yeah, that'd be sick.
I go the other way.
I don't know. Yeah, you said that in that one too. But I I don't know. I think it'd be really cool from a wild perspective. I think I would hate it in Twist because Twist is already feels super limited. But I'd be for it in wild. I think.
I mean,
Maybe
isn't that they just
could
like
you?
kind of force the packages you can build in your decks even more? Wouldn't that limit deck building more than improve it? You would just limit the options.
It would change it, right?
Right. Would it change it for the better? I feel like if they went retroactively did it, most of the decks would still exist because the decks in Wild anyway tend to be like even shaman, which is all totem stuff anyway. It's unlikely that like totems would be all different runes. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
Obviously, we have no idea.
depends on
It doesn't make
depends on
sense
how
in
you
other
break it down.
classes, but
I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at how they do it for Death Knight, it's like Blood, Unholy, and Frost. Frost, and I guess not Unholy. But like I was gonna say, like Frost is a spell school. So like maybe like if you like look at like Mage, you could do like Fire, Frost, Arcane. You know, like imagine that. Like imagine you can't play like First Flame, Ray of Frost, and like
you can't play Ice Block and
yeah, you can't play Ice Block and
half
Quest
the
Mage.
decks. Maybe that's a W on its own.
Yeah,
You know what? You sold me. Yeah.
You sold me.
can't play Ice Block.
Ice Block
and
gets one of
Quest
each
Mage.
rune. Or none of the runes or whatever. I don't know.
Or like make it a triple Frost or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
I kind of feel like the rune system has been probably a bit worse than like I feel like it's kind of flopped a little bit when it comes to standard for Death Knight. So
I do think it's gotten worse. I think they've kind of chickened out a little bit. And so
Mhm.
now it's like either things don't have runes or they're like one rune requirement or they're like like one of each or something. And like I don't know that that's better.
Don't they?
They-
Isn't the problem they just can't print enough cards like ever that way though? Because it's like 3 classes.
yeah, it like a lot of
Certain
the time
runes
one
get
of
no
the
cards.
classes, yeah, like one of the classes at least gets kind of left out. They keep having to. I think the idea of like printing like dual rune classes, like one of each, and trying to push like these hybrid decks has been very, lofty. But then what keeps on happening is they keep printing these cards with these double rune requirements, and then they're just unplayable because the triple rune payoffs are so good, and this is not enough incentive to sort of go and do other stuff. So they keep on just buffing them by dropping a rune requirement. And happen with all the plague cards. It's probably, I mean, it could very well happen with a lot of the excavate cards as well. This expansion. So yeah, I think it's hard to figure out exactly like, is it a big rune problem necessarily, or is it like Vaapad said, like they've kind of chickened out of stuff, or is it just the fact that the triple runes they printed specifically is too good? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they land next year after kind of having a year to play with things and sort of figure it out as a new class and a new system.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know that I have 50 Death Knight wins yet, so maybe I'm not the best. Might not be the best person to talk about that, but my instinct is that Hearthstone's simplicity is part of what makes it so great. And granted, most people probably net deck anyway. That's just kind of feels like clutter to me. But for the more ingrained and interested in it, maybe it could be good. My 3, I also have no idea what this one is.
That's a good one. Is it my 3 now?
It is.
All right. This is where we go to the things I actually had thought about ahead of time. I mean, I had the bigger friends list, I guess, but at this point in my Hearthstone career, I've been playing this game for 9 years almost. So there's not a whole lot of gameplay things I desire. All the expansions just feel like expansions to me. Like I like some thematically, I don't like some thematically. There's just like cards, like whatever. I don't like patch days. I don't look forward to new stuff. I like new stuff, but it doesn't like get me in the same way it used to, right? It's just Hearthstone, right? The reasons I play Hearthstone are for the community and to make videos. That's like literally the only thing keeping me here at this point, right? Like I don't mind the game. I like the game, but I would play it like 4 times a week if it wasn't for content, right? And so I play it now 6 times a week or something. But so with that said, my number 3, kind of a broad umbrella, but it's also funny because Core wanted the opposite, but I want social enhancement. I want like an in-game clan system or guild system where you can like talk to people in the game, have like more of a community in the actual client. What that entails, kind of vague. Anything they'll throw a bone at me, I'm all for, I think in-game clan is like the easiest one to point to from other games and be like, that could exist here. That would be cool, right?
Be so cool.
Imagine being able to get like the wild Hearthstone subreddit, like in-game clan. You could join in and see what people are chatting about. Kind of fun just to see other people chatting about Hearthstone, you know?
Okay.
And then like you could get one for your team or something. You could have like next to your name, you could have a clan tag, like above it or below it or left of it or right of it or something. When you like queue in, it could be below it. Like you could have like some identity in some way, theoretically. I don't know, whatever it is. That's my thing.
Yeah, and I really like that idea too. I actually was gonna put it on my list and totally forgot about it because we talked about.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I would join the wild subreddit's friend chat or group chat or whatever, but it'd be nice if it existed. Like as long as like the clan tags that show up in games aren't just like gonna be swear words and stuff. Like we don't need no picture emblem like the Black Ops 2 days, but like I think a clan chat, a clan system may actually come one day. I think I mentioned like Ixar and Slissalon have both tweeted about it at some point, but it just requires a lot of work. And they're super tied down with the expansions cycle and everything constantly. But I could see it working at some point. I mean,
and I think in this conversation we talk about like being able to like view the achievement pages of your clan members. And,
yeah. Because like the profile system alone, we was like unheard of 5 years ago. It really expanded on their UI and stuff. So,
and like the clans, like we talked about like Clash of Clans and like how you can get some benefits and like go to war with another clan or whatever.
Dude, it's like literally Clash of Clans or Club Penguin, but instead it's like you replace the mercenary button with like a clan button. You go in and you have like a campfire and you have these different like locations in your clan where you can like see people's profiles and decks and chat and you see their little like pictures they've chosen or avatars. Like it's hilarious. Just like an MMO in Hearthstone all of a sudden, like just a hangout spot. Just got mercenary down to the bottom.
And like, there's a game that almost no one's gonna know about, but it's a game I used to play called Naruto Arena, and that clan system like was very like dumbed down. Like basically, like whenever you won a match, you got your experience points to level up, and you gave your clan experience points. Like so, like, and that was like the extent of it. And you just like tried to be part of like a highly ranked clan. There wasn't much to it. But I mean, even something like that could be cool, just because then you have like top ranked clans or whatever. But
yeah, it'd be fun because I think there is already a little bit of this. Like there are kind of like like community driven clans in Hearthstone. It is a small thing, but like especially amongst a lot of the Chinese players, I don't remember the exact name of the clans, but you'll often see the same tag. Like I think Forsaken is one of them. You'll often see like FSKN in a lot of players' names. So there's kind of, it seems like already a little bit of this going on unofficially, and it might be very appealing. Yeah, I think it could be really fun. Like, what else are they really doing with the mercenaries page right now? Come on, that's working space. That's free for rent. Like they can lease that out for the clan.
Yeah, I was like mostly joking about gutting mercenaries, but you can kind of see where like when you open up into there, then you have the different locations. Like you could make that a clan system. That you would keep mercenaries, just shove it away somewhere, but you know,
right? You put it under modes.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do we get anything? Sort of.
It's already under modes. Yeah.
I don't think we get anything, right? Besides a bigger friends list on BattleNet, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think anything changed, right?
No, not really.
Yeah, nothing's coming to mind, even sort of in this realm.
I mean, did we get like battlegrounds friendly? Like you can lobby up with people when you go and queue in on BGs.
That was a while ago. You have to add on.
That was a while ago. Okay. Oh well.
You know, in hindsight, the first social feature we're gonna get is people in your battlegrounds lobby. You can like have a little chat just for all the people in there. That's the first thing we're gonna get, surely. So you don't have to message them on the friends list.
Yeah.
So if you have more than one in your battlegrounds party, you're gonna have a little chat that pops up. That's definitely gonna be the first thing. Now that you mention it, that we get, so you can chat to your party. You guys ready? Type in R. You know.
Yeah.
You queue it up. Yeah, that's. But even that, I just came up with that. Like that'd be. I don't know that I'd ever use that really, but that'd be a sweet feature, right? Like,
right.
Be super for that.
I mean, they've kind of already like started poking at it with the duos idea, right? Like. They like the what's the right click thing? What do they call that?
Fair. Yeah, you emoting, I guess. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that like you like right click on a minion to like say buy this or whatever.
Yeah, you can like tell your duo to like
ping?
buy or click or ping is a term you could use.
Yeah.
You can like ping their board to say like, hey, click level up. Hey, send me this minion. Hey, buy this, sell this.
Yeah. It feels like if they were going to add in-game chat, that would be something that maybe wouldn't exist. Maybe like, because like, why put in something that primitive if you're going to add chat later?
Well, because it's easier on the fly, I think, to send a quick ping. They can coexist.
Sure.
Especially when you think mobile in mind. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You're right though. But yeah, I mean, that's duos is. I don't know if that was on anyone's wish list, but I'm pretty excited for that. I think that's super
Yeah,
cool.
it looks sick.
It is just TFT double up at home, but it's something, you know. it should be fun. Hopefully,
I'll enjoy it.
all right. Already on to the number 2s.
Corb's number 2.
Okay, my number 2 was changes to Tavern Brawl / I would like Blizzard to hire someone to be in charge of Tavern Brawl. I don't know if that position is still free, but I know that
You want new Tavern
previously, yeah. The thing is, like, there was someone previously, I don't know the name, who was very into Tavern Brawl. That was their job. Like, they were in charge of it, and they left a long time ago. It was like in 2019, and as far as I know, there was never like a direct replacement made.
They just have the
after
modes
that
team,
happened.
so like it'd be Matt London now. It would have been
Yeah,
the duels guy to Taboric or something 8s, but now it's Matt
I think he
London.
might be-
They don't.
I think he might be gone as well.
Oh, he is
the
gone. Yeah,
duels.
he's the
Yeah.
new.
Oh, he was gone
announcer
then.
now.
Wow, it's been that long.
No, Matt
yeah,
London
there was a
wasn't gone.
period
I
in
think
like
you're talking about
2018,
Taboric.
2019.
Yeah, Taborak was gone. He's already a year, and London's gone too. Now you're right.
Yeah.
Who knows who's in charge of anything now? Any mode.
Wasn't it
You've
like
lost them? You've got the opposite of this. You've lost people in charge of modes.
I have no idea who I meant to add on Twitter at this point. No idea.
wasn't it like a month or two ago we found out that like Hearthstone had a new game dev, like
Mhm.
lead
Yeah,
game
game
designer?
director.
Yeah, and like no one knew until it like popped up on someone's LinkedIn or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a pretty recent hire, and they just didn't ever talk on Twitter or anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tavern Brawl did not change as far as I can tell. Like, I am still not playing Tavern Brawl. I think that's another pretty empty space, not really super high up on the priority list. And yeah, now I'm just, yeah.
But it's back on the front page.
Was it not on the front page?
No.
Mercenaries was.
Mercenaries.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Tavern Brawl more popular than
All right.
Mercenaries confirmed.
Oh, what a bar. We have cleared that. We're back, baby. We've never been more back.
I think the free pack still goes pretty hard. Most weeks. Some weeks it's gonna be a chore, but I think I do Tower Brawl most weeks. But I certainly forget about it. So like I have to check 2 or 3 times a week to make sure I've gotten my pack.
And that's not great. Like, if you forget the modes, like, they head over to click on it.
Well, I
It's
just
like-
figure whether or not I've played my one game, you know.
Yeah.
Even when there's a good Tavern Brawl, there's not a lot of incentive to play more than one win, which is maybe something I'd wish for in the future. But unless you really enjoy it, like you win 12 games and then your MMR is like so high that you're versing 2 people in a long queue, and it's like, what's the point?
Does Tavern Brawl have internal MMR?
Yeah, it has a ranking. If you play enough games and win enough, you'll get against the same people in over again.
Ew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think it
learned
might-
that in like the top 2s and 4s.
Yeah, I think it resets though each week. I think.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure. I know like casual has like an MMR and stuff, so like,
Mhm.
Tavern Brawl definitely does. I just don't know whether it carries.
Yeah, I remember there was always like those gross rogue combo deck metas. You get even if you win enough, you versus the same people doing the same thing and teching for it. Pretty silly. But yeah, I'm all for more Tavern Brawls. I would echo that sentiment and still hope for that. More Tavern Brawls, spread a use of that. Like mode of the day, mode of the week type stuff in other games is always exciting. It's not so exciting when the mode of the week is the 70-second version of, or not even version, just the 70-second time of this specific mode of the week. It's like, I don't really desire to ever have a full web spinner or unstable portal deck ever again. The recipes, I will say, in terms of repeating ones, the deck recipes on like the first week of an expansion, pretty fun
yeah.
thing to repeat once
Yeah,
in the expansion. That's cool, you know.
Yeah.
And you could maybe have a couple examples like that, but for the most part, it's like I don't need most of these again. I don't really want to ever have to team up with classic cards to defeat the little huge bot that switches sides and hits you for $1 billion. Like I don't really care to ever do that again.
The Rag and Nefarian one.
No, it's the one where you're Malfurion and Jaina, and you have like a
Mm,
big taunted thing on the board.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Tavern Ball's cool. Should we move on to
Yeah.
the pods too?
But yeah.
My 2 is a Wild Hearthstone meetup / fireside gathering to meet in person some of these crazy guys that are in Wild Hearthstone.
I mean, you can just go to a fireside gathering. You don't have to.
I mean, I think some of this probably happened, but not like you. Not that you were
Right. Like a BlizzCon kind of thing.
Yeah, or TwitchCon or a.
I mean,
I think most of the
BlizzCon.
stuff's in Europe.
Did BlizzCon just come back this year? Is this the first one since COVID?
I believe so.
I'm gonna count that as a W. You're welcome, guys. I brought BlizzCon back. Yeah, I don't know. This is I mean, it would still be cool, but I don't know how much I care about it right at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to go out of your way to travel to something to see people who also travel to something.
Sure.
I don't know, like that's kind of on you, I feel like, but obviously you kind of knew that then.
Right. It is slightly sad. Our co-host who's missing today, Swag, did drive through the Midwest, but he did not make it as far north as Michigan because why would he? Going to the Pacific Northwest, but yeah,
Did he drive that far? He was east of Michigan and then went all the way across the country.
he was southeast. He was down by Georgia.
Oh wow, yeah, it's a pretty
Yeah.
lengthy process there.
Yeah, he was.
Georgia to the other coast is like a lot of driving for those unaware.
He was understandably very tired at the end of it.
It's probably several European countries worth. I don't know how it compares to Australia. I think Australia is pretty big, but it'd be
we're pretty
probably
big out here.
the entire like populated coast of like one direction. But
Yeah, I have no concept of how big Australia is in relation to the U.S.
I will say you got way louder like recently. I don't know if that's just me, Core, but the pod got way louder for me.
Oh, really?
Is it just me? If it's just me, it's fine. I just don't want to make sure.
Yeah, I didn't
Painful.
really notice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's just me then. That's fine. I just didn't want your editing to be terrible. Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, did you see anybody you play Hearthstone with at all besides me this year?
No, just you.
Unlucky. Didn't even see one person.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Yeah. Quite far away from a meetup if you don't even see one.
Anyway. Well, my number 2 is something that Cord mentioned Hearthstone didn't have, which is funny. At least he knows we should have it and we don't. My number 2 is custom matches with modifiers and custom rules. Every game I've ever played, ever, has had this, except for Hearthstone. And I understand there's UI limitations in Hearthstone. Like, you don't need to change it so that, like, you have 16 mana crystals in the bottom right. Because the technology exists to say, like, 16 out of 10, right? This happens. What I want is when I queue up a friendly match, I can change some presets. So I can change the amount of health we start with, the amount of mana that we cap at, the amount of mana we gain each turn, the amount of cards we have in our decks. Maybe that one's too hard, but the amount of cards we draw each turn, hand size, you could go up to 12, you could go down to 2, like, right? You could go down to 1.
Being able to play multiple classes.
Yeah, I mean that might be my number 1 still. I mean,
I
seems
love
like
that.
it'd be pretty easy.
I love that you were gassing past you up. You're like, go off.
Go off, King. Well done. So smart, yes.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we have that?
This is actually the one that I remembered. Out of all the 15 that we apparently had from the start of the year, this is the one that before we started recording today's show, I was still like, damn, that was such a good one. Like, I really wish we got something like that. So, damn, now I'm gassing you up, Jordan.
Damn, really?
Yeah, no, I really did remember this, and I've been like, it's gonna be in the back of my mind, like for a long time now, ever since I heard it, because I hadn't heard anyone really talk about it, and the idea of doing this sort of custom lobbies and matches and stuff before. So I would love if we got something like this. I don't think it's a very high priority probably for the team, but it's still a sick idea, Past Jordan.
Yeah. The closest thing I guess would be the anomalies, right? In battlegrounds and then in standard, like in constructed. like
Cor-
even
Corb,
being
how
able
do
to
you
turn
feel
those
about
on
anomalies?
willingly. Well, if it's
I
a
actually
custom
didn't-
match,
I actually didn't like anomalies. I was actually into it.
heck yeah.
People hated them a lot. Like I wasn't like I'm fine for the Hearthstone tier to just try weird shit because the game's been around since 2014, right? There's only it's kind of like what Jordan, we heard him talk about getting excited for new cards, expansions, and doesn't really kind of like do it for him anymore. I think like anomalies and sort of other forms of novelty like that are a good way to spice up the game, and just trying stuff is fine. So I actually had no problem with it at all to be in the game.
I feel like I remember like listening to State of Wild, and you were like, I slowly over the course of a couple episodes in a row heard you become more and more disenchanted with the anomalies.
A little bit. I mean, I think they probably went on for too long. Like,
Yeah.
but I think like the core idea of them, man, no, they were fine. Like,
I was just about to say I wanted them longer.
yeah, no, I hope we got like, I hope we get more weird stuff like that in the future, and I hope they're not afraid of trying stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean the lowest hanging fruit for custom matches is being able to have a drop down where you scroll between the different options and turn them on for your custom match. I mean, like they have the technology to modify health. Battlegrounds has done a lot of things with modifying the different game rules. Like you could easily build this out for custom matches. It's a shame we don't have it. That'll probably return on mine. Also, because I think content like could be
Oh,
so
yeah.
great too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know that if the audience would care if they just want to see ranked, but I think it'd be fun certainly.
Hey, to a degree, this isn't quite what we got, but in terms of twist, right? The idea of sort of being able to change the rule set of Hearthstone games, like
Yeah.
if you could
It's
set it
them
to
doing
40
it
health.
for longer periods. Yeah.
Yeah, it's taking away the thing. But I was just thinking about that, like if there was, because I was imagining like, oh yeah, maybe in casual matches it's not enough of a feature if you could set 40 health. And I was like, oh, but what if they did like a weekly mode like that where you could just do it, and I was like, oh wait, that's a twist.
Yeah.
And then they turn it off for 2 months, and then they walk it back a month.
So weird.
Only out for 1 month now. What could have been with that mode, huh? Maybe we'll see it again. I
We'll
don't know.
see. I think there's still a hope. I think Twist might get there. It just requires attention.
Problem is they just let other people disenchant their wild cards for 6 years, 7 years with no remorse or consideration, and now they're kind of doomed. But catch-up packs could actually be the savior there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of upsetting to those of us who paid for every card and kept every card for 9 years.
I'm just amazed at them actually. Like, so I just for kicks and giggles, because I knew that they were available. When the expansion dropped, I went to my Asia and Europe accounts and basically just like did all the quests or whatever to
I
get
should do that.
like, to get the catch up packs. They got like 200 cards for 0 gold and 0 money. It was like insane.
I should certainly do that. That's a good idea.
I used the Tavern Brawl quite heavily to get through the quests. So thanks, Tavern Brawl. You the real one.
Don't they just give you 3 for logging in, or do you have to earn those?
They give you 2 for logging in, and then there was like 2 more locked behind a quest chain.
Huh. All right. Yeah, I'd probably do that. That'd be kind of fun. I opened them on my main account. It was 5. It was 5 pack, 5 cards. Yeah. Bummer. Thankfully, they had the bundle in the shop for gold, so you could get to 10 and get a legendary, and that was nice. And then I was like, well, I'm not opening these again.
That I didn't know. Interesting.
I mean, I assume I might have just gotten lucky, but there's the like 1,800 gold, I think, for 10 catch-up packs and 10 something else in the shop. It was a great bundle. I was like, gold for a bundle? Sign me up. As a man who doesn't buy expansions anymore because the game's monetization has improved enough that I can kind of get away with it.
Right. Likewise.
Seeing a gold bundle in the shop was pretty exciting.
I've got a disturbing amount of dust for someone who doesn't like beat every battle pass at this point.
Yeah, I kind of realized how many people, like the whales, are falling into the trap where they just like their dust button goes up, but they never use it because they just are used to buying everything. And then people like Blue Train or Gasuda, name a few, will quit, and the button will have like 130k. It's like you could play for another decade without paying money with 130k dust. Like it's like such a shame to have all these resources over all the years and then not to cash in on them. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna not pre-order until I feel like my experience is being worsened
Right.
by the lack of cards. And so far, we're hanging on. So it's like, yeah, if you're out there and you're listening and you have like above 30K dust and like above, what do we think, like 2K gold, maybe try it out. You know, like you actually have to use those resources at some point, or they're like kind of just wasted money. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I clean my gold out every expansion, and whatever that gets me, it gets me, and then I just coast.
I haven't
Off
even
of
been
dust.
doing that, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
I do enough to get the commons and rares, and then I just craft as I need, like for the
Sure.
other stuff, because you end up just wasting so much gold otherwise.
Right.
But yeah, I feel really bad seeing people with like 50K plus dust pre-ordering. It's like you've been frugal, saving cards to disenchant for nerfs, and like building up the supply, and like disenchanting the nerfed cards, and like doing everything right for like years and years and years, and you're just gonna keep shoveling out money every time. Like, use your resources you've earned. So sad. Don't fall in the trap. Unless you really want the skins, I guess. I mean, that's well, you know,
Mhm.
can't give up the skins, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the last thing was. Was it custom games? Are we still on that?
Yeah, we
I think
are.
so,
A
yeah.
little sidetrack with the somehow got the dust and packs and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was by way of the Tavern Brawl. I don't know. The
Yeah.
catch-up packs. I don't know.
Oh yeah, ketchup packs and Twist. Ketchup packs,
Yeah.
ironically, could save Twist, but yeah.
That's how we got there. Yeah.
Honorable mentions. We
You
have
guys.
I didn't have any.
My honorable is just everything I've said in the last 2 years that hasn't happened for the last 2
Want to
episodes.
refresh anybody in this? Do you have any of this right now?
The big ones are a rotating format. I really want one. More stats on the stat page and being able to share those with friends.
rotating format.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Is it everything you ever wanted?
It is actually. I've
think
been
it's only-
I've been a Twist main since it came out. Pretty
Only
much.
mode you play, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Twist and Battlegrounds now. Yeah.
I wish other people were playing Twist. That's my only. issue.
Yeah. The issue is I'm not helping you with that because my MMR is still quite low. I'm still at like 9 stars, maybe. I don't know. I can't get over the diamond hump because I don't want to play the good decks. That's the issue.
Mm.
That's
I'm
a
enjoying
weakness.
I'm enjoying playing my piles.
Saw someone did the leaderboard command, I think yesterday, and it had Corbett rank 3 in Twist, and I'm curious, like, from when you were last rank 1, like at the start of the month, have you played a game? Just decayed to 3 over the course of an entire month. So absurd. And the 2 people past you are probably just like jumped in front of you when they entered as well, and then haven't played much.
Yeah, I know
Or
one of
when
them
traded or new
grinded.
account. But...
Yeah, one of them grinded elite,
Oh.
played like a lot,
Oh,
and then the
Elite
other
is better.
person had a fresh account bug where they just entered at rank 1 with no other rank history ever.
Yeah, that's
And that like really disincentivized me from even trying because I'm like, I don't want to like that's. It's either rank bug or it's like win trading, and either way, I'm not into it. So
Man, that's funny. You just haven't decayed at all. Whereas in Wild, you'd move a decent amount, even for a smaller format when you log out for
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
some time.
Yeah.
Obviously, the further down you are, the more you move. But
Right.
you move every now and then. There's people playing.
Keep going with the honors.
I'd like to have Renathal back.
Random
That's an
back.
honorable mention, I guess.
Didn't
That's a
get
new one.
that.
We did
Yeah.
have 2 rotating formats. I get what you mean. You want like a wild
Yeah.
that rotates sets in and out, as opposed to a
Correct.
duels or arena that rotates sets in and out.
Duels is so much fun, to be honest,
Is it?
but it
Never played Duels
struggles
before.
in some ways. I don't love the initial deck building process so much. From one-ofs and 15 cards, and the treasures and hero powers are wonky, and I don't know. Duels has some things going for it that I really like, but I wish we could just have a constructed mode that was rotating.
Yeah.
But expectations.
We may have talked
you know?
about the downsides and the upsides to that. You would
Huge. You don't play duels anymore? I hear it's the best, and I hear it's the best mode right now. That's what I'm hearing in the Hearthstone discourse.
Yeah, Raffle is like a duels main. at
That's
this point,
true.
I
He
think.
became a duels content creator.
Yeah.
And I don't think his numbers dipped at all. They might have even gone up, which I was surprised about. I thought they would have been a little lump at first. Maybe I just missed it, but he's full in on the duels. But even in Discords, I'm seeing a lot of the duels praise
Yeah.
from normally wild gamers. So
Maybe the month that Twist is gone, I'll give duels a try.
to be fair, I also see a lot of arena praise. Hearthstone, I've seen a lot of Hearthstone praise. Hearthstone, I think, is probably just the best it's ever been in 10 years.
Corb, is Hearthstone saved?
Always. Hearthstone has never been, never been not saved.
A lot of industry praise. A lot of reason to come back if you're a Hearthstone watcher and not a player, because catch-up packs are kind of the nuts. I mean, I think Hearthstone is just the best it's ever been in every way. I mean, if you hate the meta or whatever, that's a preference. But like in every objective way, it's just better than it's ever been. It's cheaper. I mean, not physically cashing out for items, but like the way to accumulate stuff in game outside of that is way better. A lot of the modes are doing pretty well. You've got more modes, so you have more options to find something you like. The Highlander arena changes where you get like one legendary and it's at the start, I think is doing a lot over there. Who knows if that's still the case?
That's a real thing. It's always a legendary.
Yeah, so the first pick is always a legendary, and so if it's a Highlander one, like, hey, I can build my Highlander deck. And you're also not going to verse decks that have like 3 Titans and just get screwed. Well, also, there's no Titans, but you're not going to verse a deck that's like with a bunch of legendaries.
Can you not get more than one legendary?
I don't think so. I think it's just the one, and it's always the first one. But I could be wrong about that. It might just be that it's just the first one guaranteed, and you could get more.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's been pretty positive change. People have enjoyed that. Kind of falls in the bucket of like the anomalies where you just try stuff. Doesn't hurt to try stuff. Yeah. You might enjoy that. I mean, it seems pretty cool.
It seems I've always been hilariously bad at arena, so
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if I used to just think more or it's just better, but I don't necessarily know that I do great at arena.
It's a very
which is strange because in WoW I feel like when I play WoW I don't play around anything, and I do really well. So you would think in arena if I don't play around anything in a mode where you really have a hard time playing around anything, I would be fine. But maybe like subconsciously I play around stuff without realizing it because I've trained myself to play in a certain way. But yeah, I don't know. I've been on autopilot for like 4 years at this point. So anytime I play a mode like that where I have to think, it's always like, whoa, this is a different experience. Like if you haven't thought about Hearthstone in a while when you play, it's a very different game. Instead of just slinging the cards. Yeah. Both great games, but very different games. They're 2 different games. It's really interesting because I mostly autopilot now. But when I like have to think and try hard, it's like, wow, I don't know anything about Hearthstone. Like, what am I supposed to do ever? I'm just guessing at this point. Like, there's a lot of skill in this game if you actually think. Very different game.
Can't
see if we have any more of these, right?
Take players from Wild, you'd have conflicts of interest. I think it'd be sweet if you
talk down Twist, you loser.
It's a tricky thing with game dev to decide the approach there. Like, do you want to maximize? Right? It'd be even, yeah. Oh yeah, that adds up. Although I guess
the small, player base actually is a problem in Twist for you anyway.
Faces the whole time.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say like, if that conversation's already covered, I can just read out my number 1 verbatim. So what I said was alternating format, basic / core plus 5 random expansion swaps every expansion. So that's actually what's
hey, you got a Twist too. All right,
nice
rotating.
Yeah, so I was waiting until you guys wrapped up on whatever you guys were talking about.
That's funny. But yeah, so you want that too?
That's funny. I didn't realize that was there.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean,
I think that I think Corb pushed it over. I mean, I wanted it last year and it didn't happen. But then when it was me and Corb, the heart of the cards just pushed it up to the top. Blizzard heard our cries.
Absolutely. And cries is very appropriate right now for the Twitch format.
Yeah. Unlucky.
Yeah, maybe not having like a modes leader for different modes and having a really small team is hurting having all these different modes because both of the recent modes have not done so hot initially.
It's a lot of fingers and a lot of pies right now, Jordan. Like Hearthstone, like you were just talking about all the benefits of Hearthstone, the best it's been, like all the stuff that's going on. But at the same time, it's got a lot of stuff going on, and it might be hard for them to. Might be hard for them to, keep up with everything perfectly.
Right. Yeah, that could be an issue. Certainly.
Maybe more people.
Yeah, I mean, it's really strange. It always has been strange because there's like a bajillion people that will happily work at Blizzard despite any of the negative stuff that would come out about working at Blizzard. But they've just always been so reluctant on only hiring the right people, which has done them well over the last 30 years. But it's like at some point you have to hire more people if you want to deliver on more and keep the quality as high as Hearthstone has been used to for 10 years. Maybe that'll change under Microsoft. Who knows? That's a big thing that happened this year that we otherwise probably wouldn't have talked about. But who would have thought we'd see the day, huh?
Do you know when does that all like kind of really come together? Because I know we've obviously
It's-
seen some restructuring recently over the past month or two, which is always you know, a bit shitty. But I'm not sure like when does that kind of all go through? Do you know?
It's gone through. Blizzard
It's already
is
in
owned,
terms of
Blizzard is owned by Microsoft. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Activision, I believe, is no longer a publicly traded company.
That doesn't sound right. I think
No?
Well, maybe.
No, it's
No.
If you had Blizzard stock, you should have gotten a big payday, I believe.
Should have become Microsoft stock.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. If you get paid for the stock or if it becomes Microsoft stock, I don't actually know. I think you get paid for it if then they take it off, same with like Twitter. But all I know is if you had bought stock for both of those companies, you would have made money.
Yeah, because I think I've heard a story about someone who like owned some serious stock and they owned like whatever the other one was, that the other like XM radio thing, and like when they merged, like they got basically they like their stock merged or whatever. When one
maybe
bought
there's
the other.
options. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's a finance bro.
Yeah,
Conversation.
I don't know anything about stock. We look at the
But
last
as
month,
far-
our stuff's up though, so maybe that's
As
why.
far as like when that's going to start having like tangible effects on Hearthstone, I mean, you have to imagine that like, you know, it's the planning phase is like what, a year out, 2 years out. So we're going to start maybe seeing that stuff in a year.
I suspect some stuff doesn't get made 2 years out. Like I suspect that the expansion cycle is kind of on a 2-year cycle, but every once in a while they'll find chunks of time to work on other stuff. Like I don't think if they had an idea smaller than a full expansion, it would take 2 years to see the light of day.
Yeah. That's an interesting like thought piece, like with something like Caverns of Time. Do you think they had Caverns of Time planned 2 years ago? Like when we were
No.
complaining about like wild only expansions?
I
No.
see. I don't know that everything is 2 years out.
No,
I think that's just expansions.
I believe. Just weighing off how much I can say.
Yeah, I don't even know if, are even expansions 2 years out. Like I feel like Galen's leading a set prior to being there for 2 years and stuff.
Sets are about a year out.
makes
I
sense.
believe Caverns
makes
of
a lot more
Time
sense.
was sort of a project that was sort of like the idea of a wild set was kind of tossed around for a while. And then we got to around February and March and the infamous Wild Summit. And I believe that Caverns of Time and Twist was sort of the result of that. So around February, this whole thing was kind of put together, and it was very much a passion project from Matt. And so yeah, it really wasn't like years out in advance. This is something that was, you know, pushed relatively quickly. And I think Matt came up with he was pushing the Twist stuff, but then a lot of the final balancing, and that was done by Galen and the final design team.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. 2 years is too long nowadays to really start planning things that aren't surefire bets, like an expansion. And even then, yeah, 2 years didn't make sense because you'd have new designers that were leading sets prior to their 2-year anniversary, and it's like,
Yeah. Guess
that makes sense. It's more than 1 year now.
Yep.
For the expansion cycle, and then I've long assumed that smaller things. Struggling to come up with an example, but smaller things don't take as long.
Yeah,
there.
they come up with the expansion a year out, and then 6 months before they send it to final design, and then it's all locked in about 3 to 4 months before, about 3 months before. So
nice.
I wonder if like when it's locked in, if they change stuff in the other game, if they ever go back, how that would work. But
Yeah,
I guess we just wait until it's live.
Yeah, I think they still open to making like very, very late changes. Like it like quote unquote locked in, but I think they can do it like I think they've said the latest change they made was like basically a week before they were like forced to, where they'd already like, locked in game cards sent out to creators and stuff. Like it's kind of funny sometimes you see the wrong card put up on like the website, or sometimes the creators post like an outdated version, and you can really get the sense that sometimes it really is like down to the wire on how exactly a card makes it into the game.
Right.
Yeah, that isn't. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You have like the Mindsphere situation too, where the community's like, "Yo," and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we missed this one."
Yeah.
Although in that case, what? I don't even remember. They nerfed a wild card. I'm assuming
They banned test subjects temporarily and then changed it the next available patch.
Makes sense. Yeah. So you got
Next
your
one.
number one. That's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah.
If there's ever one you want to get, it's the number one.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I chickened out not putting a repeat on my list.
Ah, you could have had credit, but you didn't put it on your list, so you don't get any.
Yeah, it's only an honorable mention.
See what you did put as your one.
But yeah.
Sure.
All right. Vapad's one.
All right. My number one. I, sometime in the course of this year, would like to see a control warrior deck be tier S.
Huge.
Dude.
Because I want to see it, like, because the running joke is that if Odd Warrior was good, I wouldn't like it. I want
Wow.
to see if that's true.
So Justin Wild, right? Like,
Who would've thought?
I've seen something kind of close in standard.
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. Standard isn't a mode I play.
Okay, yeah, just Wild.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
So you kind of got tier S with even warrior. Granted, control is you can debate that, but also wasn't there was a
Odin.
section of Twist where warrior was pretty solid.
Yeah, I didn't play it much in Twist, but I certainly did play some Odin Even Warrior for a bit.
Even warrior was such a. I experienced it for the first time like a month and a half after everybody else, and it was a beautiful 24-hour period.
Yeah. Warrior,
It is,
slow warrior decks are the bread and butter of Hearthstone.
Well,
You will
no,
not
yeah,
convince me otherwise.
I don't play it anymore. Every deck under the sun texts for you, and it's like, okay, I'm good. I don't want to deal with this right now. And it's hard to blame them because they're also technically attacking for like Quest Druid and Kingsbane and whatever. But it's like, man, can you not? I didn't play my funny meme deck. It's totally not a meme.
Corb had like an interesting point in this video, and I don't know how far into it is.
I don't know what that would take.
Yeah,
I don't know what it would take. It's tough.
It would take some nutty disruption.
I think all
No,
four
not
of the other
disruption.
things on my list would happen before this happens.
I mean, in Rage Warrior
think-
could get broken. It's got some tools. But I don't know if you count that. Did you say Odd Warrior or Control Warrior?
I said a control warrior.
Okay. I mean, I think Risky Skipper stuff could break in the right meta with the right cards.
Sure.
That's about it, right? What do you think, Corbett? Like, got anything else?
I actually think
Yeah.
there's a chance the Odd Warrior
Mm.
get kind of stupid. The thing is, like, if they keep on printing cards that have really high synergy with the amount of armor that you have, like obviously cards that aren't meant to be, working with like tank up. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
giant that
Something,
gets reduced by 1 for every armor you have. If you turn 3, it's like
yeah,
zero.
either a giant
That's-
or stuff like like shattering, like the 10 mana version, right? Like let's make that
Yeah.
an odd card first of all, and then let's print another card where it's like draw 4, costs 1 less for each armor that you have.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
something like that where it's just like working in ways that
Frenzy
they
is
really
a
aren't
worse
building around
version of
its
that
native.
kind of.
And if you have enough disruption and you have enough like super premium AoE and super premium removal, like we don't have Dirty Rat, but we do have the Call to the Stand now, right? Like we have a
Right.
Spell Rat, and they are like going into this disruption theme with Warrior, where they printed it at the 5 mana card that discards a spell. Like if they keep printing it and they print really weird armor synergy, like anything's possible. Anything can be broken.
Really
you know,
weird armor
anything can be
synergy.
broken if Blizzard
The
wants
3
it to
mana
be broken.
5/5
or
that
they-
deals 5 when you play a spell or minion was broken for a sec. That was crazy.
Yeah, like stuff breaks when synergy breaks.
Sea
like,
Devil
like
was terrible for years.
I mean, I'm all for it. They just need to actually print cards for warrior instead of spell. God, this set sucked, dude.
Ori had a tough fucking year. Like, so it was rough out here.
But yeah, there were points at this year where it was like,
Yeah. I mean, like the AoE thing, that's a good shout. Like sanitize. Like that was nutty.
Yeah, we
kind of got that. Obviously, I was talking about Odd Warrior, but in terms of the armor synergy stuff, like we ended up getting that with the 2-mana draw too. If your armor changed, draw a card, and that's like another card that's really meant to work with the 1-mana hero power button. Odin is obviously a great way to leverage the armor, and so yeah, we got like super premium removal. We got like better ways of leveraging armor. It was just for the exact opposite set of cards that I was talking
You would
about.
never have guessed Even Warrior. Like that's crazy.
Right.
That was like the only Gen. That was like one of the very few Baku Gen decks that just like really never existed for any reason at all. Like
Mhm.
Don't talk down about my Even Warrior. I was making that back when Gen came out.
there were some people doing it. Yeah.
Shmoopy was always huge on Even Warrior too. Back
Yeah.
before.
He was. He's a diehard ride or die for Even Warrior.
He got rewarded. That's funny. Yeah, the weapon too is pretty gross, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
the
through the
interesting thing to me
stars.
is that the disruption didn't end up mattering at all, really.
Yeah.
It was more about just the lethality and good defense. And like,
Yeah.
it's fine losing the combo, I guess, if you're good against aggro and you're good enough against Reno stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and you have the rats technically, but yeah, there's just not a lot of combo right now either. That doesn't lose to just
Tons of
us
armor.
gaining more while we kill you in a quest druid type style again.
Right.
Mm.
Jordan's one.
Sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm just daydreaming about how sweet Even Warrior is.
We
I
converted
did
him,
a 24-hour, like I played 24-hour strike of just Even Warrior. It was like 70 games. It was just
Oh my god, Jordan.
Like-
What are you doing?
it's a long story. I was doing a RuneScape comp, so I was like playing old school RuneScape and Hearthstone at the same time, like an all-nighter.
Yeah.
And so I was like half paying attention to the one side, half paying attention to Hearthstone. And because I was climbing 9x, right? I don't play often, so I was 9x climbing to Legend. Even Warrior, when you verse 40% even Shaman bots, is a delightful experience.
Oh, I can imagine.
Just peak Hearthstone. It's like every third game is just a free win.
Yeah, why don't all the Legend streamers just play Even Warrior if Even
Wow.
Shaman's so prevalent? All the
Because
bots.
Then you get stupid Glacial Shard Shaman ruining your life's existence, and you're just like, don't want to play the game anymore. But yeah,
Gotta
it's a
pick your
fun
battles.
option.
All right,
Yes.
Jordan's number one.
Oh yeah. I mentioned this kind of earlier when I said I
Think
wasn't
I know
asking
what this
for it, but I
is.
am asking for it as my one. A throwback to one of the many YouTube videos I made and no one ever saw, thankfully, is my number one thing I want in Hearthstone is user-generated content, which goes back to the mods I was just talking about. I don't know what that looks like in Hearthstone. I have no idea, but it'd be sick. You get the workshop going. You get like an editor, like a creative mode in Fortnite type thing going. Get the Steam Workshop
Oh.
type thing going. It's hard to imagine exactly what that looks like in Hearthstone, but you end up with Dota, and then you have a creative mode, and you end up with auto chess. It's like not at all related, but it exists because of the way they allowed you to make stuff, and then you end up with battlegrounds. Like it'd be neat to see what they could do if they just like opened up a toolkit of Hearthstone and
What
like.
if you could play custom cards in Hearthstone?
That would be
Like, you
tough.
could-
You'd have to pick from like stuff that makes sense. Right? So you'd have to choose from a keyword, and then you have to pick like a
You'd ha-
number.
yeah, you'd have
and
to
then,
like be able-
damage
You'd
or
have to like design it in client.
there'd be a
probably, so that
toolkit
you-
option. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to go too crazy, but you could do what currently exists. But yeah, I mean that'll never happen. Hearthstone's like super, like as I mentioned with their UI and their game, it's like super polished and there's not a lot going on. It's like really good at what it does. So this will never happen. But as someone who's super like, I only play Hearthstone for the content at this point. Like just to, like make videos. It's like my number one reason to play this game anymore. That'd be nuts. Like I see
You're
like
already-
my
It's essentially custom matches on steroids, right? I mean,
Right.
didn't expect to get anything in this realm. Anomalies give me some hope on custom matches in the future where you can maybe at least turn those on and choose like
Which anomalies? Maybe?
starting health and which anomalies and starting mana, things that don't affect the outside aspects. Like you wouldn't be able to choose deck size really because you'd have to have new features for your deck to be able to be complete at less than 30. But it gives me hope and at least some form of custom matches. But yeah, I mean, this was obviously never going to happen, even though I would still want it.
Yeah, I think I talked, when you were talking about this in the original video, but how BG's was basically kind of like this. It was just sort of like a mod version of the game that one of the devs was toying around with, and just sort of doing it as a free project, and then that became Battlegrounds, which became Hearthstone. Like by far the most successful thing going on in the game right now. So yeah, like it'd be kind of fun if you give the player base just more of these ways to sort of toy around and get silly, and it's an untapped resource, I think, in many ways, potentially as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one way to solve the lack of staff. If you get your players to come up with ideas and do things for you, and then you just yoink that. And
Free R&D.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I still want anything in this realm, but yeah, I mean, more ways to play cards, more ways to, exhibit and exude your passion for Hearthstone are all positive, right? So,
Yeah.
Is that our, yeah?
That's
That was
the
our
last one.
15 wish lists. We got what, like 3 of them?
Like, yeah, something like that.
3 or 4. That's pretty good. 1 in 5. 1 per person type vibes.
Yeah, yeah.
I got friends list. You both got, I guess Corb got Twist, and then you got Even Warrior TRS.
Yeah.
we each got 1.
Yeah.
Huge.
And I know Jordan like put his friends list thing at like 5 or whatever, but like the amount of times that Jordan has talked about the friends list, I think it's this one. So
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit annoying for a period there, especially during THL period when I still did that. And now it's not as big of a deal. It is nice to be able to accept rage ads without having to like remove somebody. I still don't always do them. I really should. Like every time I get an ad, I should start recording an OBS, and just after a while, you might have a funny little video out of it. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, turn it into a short or something.
yeah, a Twitter post or something. I've seen that type of content in other games where it's just like rage gamers compilation. It's just harder in Hearthstone because it's only chat. Like you can't do it while you're playing.
Right.
It's only afterward. So, but and also half the rage ads aren't even rage anymore. What happened to that, dude? Unacceptable.
You complain.
I don't
about
want
that
you to
in
compliment my
video.
deck, bro. I want you to yell at me. This is outrageous.
Yeah, they in that video when Corp was talking about not wanting to hear people like in like or the squelching, the auto squelch. I talked about like proximity chat in Hearthstone, and you're talking about how we bring new life to the rage ad meta.
Yeah, imagine just an in-game chat with text chat to your opponent. The preemptive GG in a ranked, GG in a ranked match, dude. They just disappear off your friends list when you didn't even message them on the friends list. You message them in the game, like
GG on turn 4.
Yeah, you type GG to them after you do something, and the next game they're just counter queuing you, switching their deck up. It's like disaster. Well, all right, that was our final wish list review, our final episode of the 2023 year. Quite a Hearthstone year it was. Any fond memories you guys had this year, real quick? I don't know if I have anything out of the ordinary outside of like the videos that I did well, I guess. I don't know.
Just the excitement of Twist coming out at all was like that was a pretty awesome moment. And again, when like Ungoro got added to it, was sick. I was so pumped to play Ungoro. I still am, for what it's worth. But like, Caverns of Time was super cool too. Like getting like, I think like years ago I talked about like how it'd be cool to have Straight to Wild specifically for Cthulhu. Like Cthulhu is one of those things where you just like you could never justify playing it because it never got another iota of support that was at all modern. But like, it's like super fun to play in Twist. You can't really play it in Wild anymore, but like playing iStock of Cthulhu in your Taunt Warrior Cthulhu deck in Twist is pretty fun. You're playing Sulfuras and then like finishing them off with a massive Cthulhu. And just like the weird synergies that got like added based on Caverns of Time with like iStock of Cthulhu is like 2 of your 6 pings or whatever for the quest. Like stuff like that is just like fun that we got to experience that at all, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this isn't really a year where I'm like, oh yeah, huge highlights, because a lot of stuff just hasn't quite landed that I think could have been really good. You know, like the idea of the Straight to Wild set, which ended up being, you know, like more of a Twist set, I think. Like I think that's just kind of what it was. even if it was marketed as something else.
Yeah, that's
I think,
disappointing.
I think Twist has flopped. I don't think that means it's dead. Like, I think that it could definitely be revived and sort of like made into a fun thing, and maybe it just takes time. But I think like Twist hasn't quite landed the way I really would have hoped as well. And I think like overall, I'm sort of just like losing. I've been playing Hearthstone for a really long time, and eventually you do sort of just like wear and tear build up playing the game. So maybe I've found the thing in Hearthstone that I really want to be trying, because like I have been quite limited to like Wild now for a really long time. And so for me, you know what? Maybe it is time to go down the duels path like Ruffle or something, or see what else is out there in the game, because Hearthstone does have a lot of stuff to offer. Even if I've been sort of limiting myself in many respects for a while. So maybe this has been more of a reevaluation year for me when it comes to the game than really anything else.
I do think that's a big shame of all the modes, is people still play like one thing, and there's like a huge segregation between battlegrounds and constructed community. Like, I think Hearthstone is better for everybody if everybody dips their toes into all the modes and like has access to as many things as possible and just doesn't only do one thing. But it's also hard to ask that when all they know is one thing for so many years. So
I haven't played like as much. I haven't played this much Battlegrounds since like COVID, and I'm like very much enjoying Battlegrounds again. So like
the anomalies are huge there.
Yeah, like the anomalies bring a lot of life to the game. It's like very interesting that it works so well in Battlegrounds and seemingly was not as popular and constructed. Because I don't know that I've really heard many complaints about anomalies in Battlegrounds. They seem to be almost entirely positive feedback on that. Maybe I'm just not plugged into the right communities, but
yeah, I don't know. Sure, the casual community loves those things in general. So
sure.
The casual community is probably bigger in Battlegrounds. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you find something else fun if you do end up making changes to what you play. I think it's hard. You're essentially getting into a new game in a lot of ways. And so a lot of us are kind of ingrained into the game we play and don't want to try new games, but it might revive an addiction and a really fresh enjoyment for you, like it has for your co-host over there in Duels Land.
Yeah, I hope I can happily be addicted for a very long time. That would be great.
That'd be cool. It's been a while since I've been addicted to Hearthstone. I still only say positive things about the game, but I don't like crave to play it daily. I'll play every now and then until I see a slow shaman deck, and then I'll quit for the day and try again later. Which, granted, hey, Flurgle Toxfin and Scargle Nerf, I guess that's a highlight of the year, but I always want more with that deck.
The Murloc Cupolis.
I would like to see Okani cost 12 mana, please. That'd be great.
Murloc Apocalypse.
Yeah. I just really don't like Shutterwalk Shaman, just in any form ever. It's just like really annoying. It's probably my number one hater. But anyway, we're rambling at this point, Retention is like, shoo, it's gone. Everybody's left. They're on to the next episode.
Yeah.
So I guess we should end it.
Yeah, well, thanks to everyone who tuned in for this first live stream. I know there was a couple people coming in and out. If you too would like to see the live stream, make sure you're following Vaapad1 on YouTube so that you can get notified when we go live. And
Twitch, right?
It's also on Twitch, yes.
Yeah.
But follow me on YouTube.
YouTube's a better platform.
Yes.
Sure.
Anything to plug, Corb?
Oh, just Corbett at Twitch on TV and Corbett Games on Twitter and YouTube. I think that's it for the plugging.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sweet. All right, gentlemen. It's been real.
It's been a good 2023.
See you in 2024.